Hey all, welcome back. It is Coach A with Yes Girl University YGU. That's me. So I am here. This is the second video in my nutrition series. And I am doing this series as a prerequisite to a physical challenge that I will be introducing later. A little bit about that challenge. It is a self discipline challenge. So it is something that I'm really doing for myself, but I'm inviting others to join in if you would like. Um, but before that, I wanted to really talk about nutrition because being physically active is just one part of overall health, but the most important part in overall health is what we feed our bodies. Are we giving our bodies the nutrients, the vitamins, the hydration, everything that it needs in order to function, in order to do those physical challenges and physical things. So I really wanted to set a foundation and give you just really basic information. I am not going to say I'm like the expert of all experts, and everything I tell you, you can literally Google to get a better understanding because I just wanted to bring it all in one place, and hopefully I can deliver it to you in a way that you can understand. So I will say I've been dealing with a little brain fog today, and because of that, I just haven't been able to speak. I am perimenopausal, and for those who know, you know. So I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to try to slow down and just talk. I will be looking down because I am following my notes. And I have notes, of course, to make sure that I'm giving you the information that I want to give you and that it is correct. But again, all these things that we're talking about, if you want to dig a little deeper, you can Google. Um, just if you need more understanding, because I'm like that sometimes. Sometimes I need a little bit more in order to fully apply it and fully understand it. So today, in my last video, I talked about metabolism, calories in, calories out, energy in, energy out. So basically, explaining when we intake food and drink and those calories that are in those things, how does the body um, use it for energy? Where does it go? And in that, we just talked about um, like for instance, the thermic effect of food. Part of those calories within that 24 hours is used for digestion to break down the meals and the drinks that we consume. So that is what that video is about, metabolism. But also in that video, I mentioned again energy in, energy out. So what energy does our body use? And our body use protein, it uses carbohydrates, and it uses fats, lipids. Those are considered macronutrients. So that is what this video is about, macronutrients. What are macronutrients? Macronutrients are required for the body for energy, growth, bodily functions. Again, that is carbs, fat, and protein. Those are the three sources of energy that we intake and our body uses for, again, bodily functions, growth, structure, um, activity, all of that, breathing, hair growth, nails, all of that. So, the first one we're going to talk about, excuse me, is protein. Protein. It's like we can't hear enough about protein. Like, is protein really that serious? Since I've been on my weight loss journey and going to my weight loss specialist, protein. That's all I heard. Eat protein, protein. Don't worry about anything else. Just protein, protein. And I'm thinking, just protein. I'm just doing what I told. I'm just doing what I told. So protein, protein, protein. So Protein is vital to tissue production, such as hair, skin, our nails, bone, and muscles. So it is considered a structural nutrient, but it also helps produce enzymes, hormones, and immune system antibodies. Protein also helps you to feel fuller, and can aid in metabolism and nutrient transport. So in weight loss, they say protein, protein, protein. One, because it helps you to feel full, so you won't um, overeat. And again, protein, the body uses more energy to break down protein than it does carbs and fats. So there's more calories being burned during that thermic effect of food situation. So hey, we all about burning calories, right? It also helps you to retain muscle and build muscle, which helps boost our metabolism and helps our metabolism again burn the energy. Okay, so protein is, I get it. Protein, 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 protein. And building muscles is important, especially for somebody like me who's going through the change. And as a woman, we tend to lose, I forgot how many percentage of our muscle every decade. So, what does that lead to as we get older? It could lead to falls, it could lead to a complete change in our quality of life. Um, and we want to be strong too, we want to be mobile, we want to be independent, and we want to maintain a good quality of life for our whole life. So protein intake along with some resistance training will help us to combat and slow that muscle loss down. And even in doing that, we have to worry about bone loss as well. So if we maintain a healthy muscle um, composition, that also helps to strengthen our bones. So I'm all for it. Protein, protein, protein. In this challenge, I am upping my protein intake to 160 grams a day, and that's based on my physical makeup. So what we would do is we would calculate what does that mean to you, dependent on what you're trying to do. And that is dependent on your age, your weight, your gender, your activity level, and again, what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to be in a deficit or surplus or whatnot. I am trying to be in a deficit, but I'm also want to make sure that I'm intaking enough protein where it is effective in helping me to lose weight. So, again, maintaining and building muscle and helping me to feel full. So, when I prepare my meals, I am prioritizing the protein first, not just to reach the grams, but making sure that. When I eat it, and I notice when I eat meat, I get full so quick, and it makes me to even slow down at eating and try to, so I can get in, some other stuff too, just to make sure I'm getting all my nutrients in. But I usually start my day with a protein shake, and in that protein shake, um, I'm not only getting starting with a good healthy number of protein grams for the day, but I'm also adding in Greek yogurt and chia seeds. So I'm adding in fiber, I'm adding in more protein, I'm adding in dairy. So I'm trying to really balance out my intake at the very start of the day and then carry that out throughout the day. But we'll get into all that um, uh, as we go. So some good sources of protein are lean meats, poultry, fish, Greek yogurt, eggs, legumes such as beans, nuts, whole grains, seeds, stuff like that. I mentioned protein shakes and protein snacks. All I would say is read labels. Um, I am going to be changing the protein powder that I use based on me actually reading the label instead of just buying protein powder. And we'll get into that maybe in another video. But I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good quality protein and that it doesn't have a lot of like added sugars or, other ingredients and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to use what I got because I already paid for it and make it work. Until it's gone. But again, read those labels. Just because something says it's high in protein or it's good for you, not necessarily true. When we travel, I always pack snacks, mainly protein snacks. But sometimes, we go into the gas station or the stops and I just want to buy something, mainly something sweet, but that's got some protein in it. And I'm always never do, because every time I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go get one of these protein cookies. And I turn that label around and it's only got 12 grams of protein, but the cookie itself is 440 calories. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I always end up putting it back. I have never, I can't. I can't. Um, so just be mindful with those protein shakes and snacks. Um, so some protein rich veggies are spinach, broccoli, mushrooms, green apples, asparagus, artichokes. Um, yeah, those protein snacks. Yeah, you gotta watch them. You gotta watch them. But yeah, so we talked about protein and how it is beneficial to our body, not just for energy, but for building muscle, helping us to lose weight by helping us feel full, helping us build and maintain muscle, and boosting our metabolism so we keep that furnace lit and on fire, right? So we're going to move on to carbohydrates. Oh my God, carbohydrates. It's like protein, 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 protein. Then it's like carbs. Why are we so afraid of carbs? We've been taught to be so afraid of carbs. But carbs are the primary source of energy for the body. That means our body needs carbs. It needs carbs to function. So you hear these protein, no carb, low carb. It's all about balance, of course. It's all about balance, but we don't want to completely cut carbs out because our bodies need carbs. And again, whatever you're trying to do that's specific to you, that's why we call balancing our macros, to make sure that our intake lines up with what we are trying to do, but still giving our body what it needs. So, not only are carbs a main source of energy for the body, but it fuels our cells, tissue, organs, and they help to regulate blood sugar. So, good carbs, bad carbs, simple carbs, complex carbs, simple carbs are like sugars, you know, anything that ends in a ose, glucose, lactose, fructose, ose, sugar. You know, all the stuff we love, our candies, our pastries, our sugary drinks, are high in simple sugars. What does that mean? Simple sugars means that they hit your bloodstream quicker than a more complex carb and spike your sugar and insulin levels like immediately. So, and that can throw off a lot of things. And, if we're just consuming stuff like that, it could lead to, of course, weight gain. And then with that weight gain and the level of your sugar intake could lead to other things like diabetes, all that stuff. We know all of this stuff. We don't, I don't even have to go there. But more complex carbs would be like some breads and pastas, cereals, potatoes. Those things the body um, breaks down a little bit slower, so they're not just automatically hitting our bloodstream. So, and how do we determine what's good, what's bad? Simple. All the words is flying around about carbs. There is a measurement called the glycemic index. Um, and it ranges from 0 to 100. And so what that does, it determines the effect that carb have on your blood sugar levels. So a low GI is 0 to 55. A medium GI glycemic index is 56 to 69. and a high GI is 70 to 100. So low GI, again, meaning the body takes a little bit longer to break it down, so it's not just flooding your blood sugar, your blood with sugars. High GI meaning like, yeah, y'all know what it's like. You get that sugar rush. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So carbs with the lower GI help to control glucose, weight management, and insulin sensitivity. So we use the glycemic index to help us figure out what carbs fit best into our daily nutrition. Again, depending on what you're trying to do. So I'm going to use potatoes as an example and using the glycemic index and determining what carb I would want to put on my plate. Say, of course, I'm trying to lose weight, but also, supply my body with energy. So we're going to say potatoes. So a sweet potato has a glycemic index of 60. So that puts it in the medium range. A white potato that is boiled has a GI of 82, which puts it in the high range. And French fries, I couldn't even believe this, has a GI of 72, which it is in the high range, but it's on the lower end of the high range, but it's also lower than the boiled white potato, which I'm like thinking, how is that? Because it's deep fried but hey, I'm just giving it, I'm just, it shocked me too, because I'm like, I would think that I would rather have like a boiled potato. Like it just, I don't know. They're both in the high, but again, I was just shocked that French fries was lower than a simply boiled white potato. But that's how we would use the glycemic index to make our plate, our meals, to help us in fixing a balanced meal. So the last thing I'm going to talk about in carbs, there's a bunch I could go over. Again, I'm just trying to give you the basics. We're going to talk about fruit sugar. So fruit sugar is the body, what fruit sugar is a natural sugar. So the body metabolizes it slower, but it is still sugar. So that doesn't mean that you just sit and eat a whole pack of grapes and think that it's not going to affect you in a way, or think that that's okay. Still, moderation, be smart, about it. Eat your carbs with the protein. That'll help slow down the breakdown and everything too, and not spike your sugar as fast as just eating carbs by themselves. So again, pair your carbs with a protein. So if you're having an apple, have a boiled egg, or have a cheese stick, or a handful of nuts or something with it. So, but the benefit is that fruit also contains other vitamins and nutrients for the body, and also fiber. So again, fiber is another thing that is important. Fiber is not, the body cannot digest fiber. So, and fiber helps you to feel full. It helps with digestion and manages cholesterol. So we need fiber, in our bodies as well. And fruit is a good source of fiber. So hopefully I gave you enough information about carbs um, to help you at least get a little bit more curious and maybe do some of your own research, or just enough to help you start the process of thinking differently about carbs and how we incorporate them into our body, because into our nutrition, because we do need them. Again, carbs is the main source of energy for our bodies. So the next thing I'm going to talk about are lipids, fats. So again, fats are also a major source of energy. Fats are necessary in the absorption of fat soluble vitamins. So I know you heard of water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins, and the difference, water and fat. So that means fat is needed to break down those vitamins in the body, and those vitamins are A, D, E, and K. So those are our fat soluble vitamins. So therefore, fat is necessary in order to help us utilize those vitamins. Um, Fats also support hormone production. Fats protect our organs and promote brain health. So, again, you all can dig in a little deeper if you want to know exactly how fats affect us in such a way. Good fat, bad fat. Examples of good fats, healthy fats, I'll say, they reduce cholesterol and lower your risk of heart disease. So, examples of that will be avocados, olives, and even olive oils, avocado oils, um, some nut seeds. Good examples of omega-3, oily fishes, salmon, mackerel, also soybeans, leafy greens, flaxseed. Omega-6 fatty acids would be eggs. It's found in corn, wheat germs, legumes. So I really don't have a lot, really more than that to speak about on fats. But I hope it's enough to just let you know that again, it is a macronutrient, so it is something that is needed in a good proportion in the body for everyday body functions. It serves an important role. So again, we hear high protein, no carb, low carb, no fat. You know, you want to watch your fats. You want to watch the type of the fats um, that you intake. So, but focus on the healthy fats when you're putting it into your daily nutrition. And it really doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight or not. What's most important is that we have a balanced diet so we're healthy. Really, so we're healthy. And if weight loss is, a product of that and that's something you want, that's even great. But I think sometimes we focus, because I'm guilty of it, excuse me, and I have to use myself, as an example, because I'm a real person. um, I focused on a weight loss. And so getting caught up in fads, getting caught up in, almost eating nothing, exercising like crazy, but not pairing proper nutrition with it. Yes, losing weight, but not feeling strong. So just having to learn along the way really what works for me, and my lifestyle and my activity level. Um, and I'm still learning. I am definitely still learning. So, again, I'm doing this challenge to really elevate my journey and my healthy walk, for myself now and moving forward and in the future. Just looking forward. Again, quality of life, being strong, being healthy, still having, as my, the old folks say, all your good sense. My dad was 94 years old when he died, and I made him walk with a walker just because it made me feel, more comfortable and safe for him. But he really, just around the house, he didn't need it. He still got up until he just couldn't anymore and was making his own breakfast and getting himself dressed and everything. So even his siblings, like all of them are, that I know, well into their 90s and still independent, have some independency, and talk very well. And so I just feel like that is such a blessing. And all I can do is pray that if I get to that number of years, that I'm, I'm still walking around, I'm still, tending to myself, and, have a lot of independence and, like they say, my good sense. I mean, that's just what they say. So that, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but just, y'all know what I'm saying. I'm not being trying to be offensive or anything, but the cognitive things that happen with aging, dementia, Alzheimer's, stuff like that. So I think stuff like that we have to prepare for now. We have to prepare for now with making sure, again, nutrition, not just physical exercise, but nutrition is really at the top of the list in living a good, healthy life. So that's why I'm doing this again. I'm doing it really for myself, but I am inviting whoever may want to join, to start teaching yourself healthier habits, so you can hopefully prolong your health and have a good quality of life. Um, Continue a good quality of life as we age, and maybe even reverse some things, that you may have going on now. Our bodies know how to heal themselves, but we have to be mindful that we're supplying the right tools and the right energy and activity in order for it to do so. If we're feeding ourselves a bunch of sugar, we're flooding our bodies with sugar, we're flooding our bodies with, the wrong fats, we're flooding our bodies with toxins. That's not sustainable for the body to be healthy. And speaking of toxins, I just wanted to touch on this. Um, is alcohol. Alcohol, to the body, is simply a toxin. It has no nutrient use for it. So when we drink alcohol, and the body has no use for it, the body will prioritize metabolizing that alcohol to get it out of your system, to get it out of the way, so it can then start tapping back into the things that it needs, the carbs, the fats, the proteins. So if you are trying to lose weight, as long as you're drinking alcohol, your body can't burn what it needs to burn in order for you to lose the weight. And again, it is a toxin. It is a toxin. So if you're over consuming, you're creating a toxic environment within your body. What does that lead to? Nothing good. Nothing good at all. So, and we need to remember, ladies, our bodies contain less water than men. So our bodies respond to alcohol differently than it does a man. So I just wanted to throw that in there, um, because if we're talking overall health, we just can't talk, we need to cover things that just isn't good for us. It just isn't. So just had to throw that in there. Let's speak briefly on micronutrients. Macro, things that our body needs for energy, structure, bodily functions. Very important. The body needs it in more of a surplus than it does macronutrients. So, macronutrients are essential vitamins and minerals needed in smaller daily amounts that they don't provide energy directly, but they play vital roles in chemical, oh my God, reactions. So it's such as iron, iodide, calcium. So deficiencies in, these micronutrients, can lead to health conditions. So again, that's something you can Google. I'm not gonna like go all into detail. Some of it is information that we already know, we hear every single day. Um, so I'm going to get ready to close this out, but I really am just trying my best to do my best. And um, I just want to help. I just want to help simply by being real. I've struggled. I'm in a state of mind of struggling right now, even as I'm doing this. But I have to keep pushing. And so, again, discipline, motivation, intention is important in your walk to a healthier you, a healthier lifestyle. These are all things you have to put forth every day, especially intention. What is your intention? What is your reason? You want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to reverse some things you may have going on, you want to combat some things you may have going on, you want a healthier lifestyle, you want better quality of life, you want to be strong when you're 80 years old. I don't know, but these are all things that I want, and I know that I have to dedicate myself to it. I have, and in order to do that, I got to have the self discipline. So this challenge is really a discipline challenge, but again, I wanted to come forth and just bring forth just basic information in order to just help and encourage, you, if this is something that you want to do and you want to join in. I just want to make sure that you have information in order to make a plan for yourself, because you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. It's not just something you dive into and say, well, I'm just going to stop eating this, I'm going to eat more of that, I'm going to walk 50 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a plan. You need something that is specific to you. You need something that is sustainable, something that you can keep doing. It becomes habit, it becomes life, it's manageable, it's something. It literally becomes a no-brainer. It just literally becomes a no-brainer. When you try to do too much um at one time, or you're trying to do stuff cold turkey without information, without knowing what you're doing, it's you're not going to be able to keep it up. You're just not. And I'm just trying to promote information and motivation and dedication and realness, because it's hard. It's hard. I am so frustrated, and so um I'm starting to feel discouraged, because it's like, here I am, I'm trying to motivate you, but I'm like, I haven't lost weight in 2 years. Is anybody even want to listen? Is anybody don't care? But the thing is I can't focus on that, because it's a negative, and negative causes stress in my body, and stress could lead to, a rise in cortisol, and cortisol can help me maintain this belly fat, and I'm trying to lose it. So I'm not doing that. It's the reality. I'm just saying all this because the reality is it is not easy, and it is not something that you have to do alone. And it's definitely not something you do without information. So, again, this is just a nutrition series. I'm just going to give you basic nutrition breakdowns to help you come up with a plan that is sustainable to you and that makes sense. And if you implement it, it will work for you. It will work. So, thank you if you watch this video. I hope it helps. Coming forth and doing this definitely is a boost for me. It helps me to keep going. It helps me to keep standing and keep pushing forward. So I do it for me. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to join in. You don't have to bully me or beat me up or say, well, you're still fat. I know I'm still fat. That's why I'm here. What do whatever. Not that I've gotten any comments like that. But I see so many other people that do, and it's like, look, I'm gonna go off into something else, but I see that, and it is very discouraging, because it's like, dang if you do, dang if you don't. But I'm gonna do no matter what. So I'm gonna push forward. Again, thank you. I hope this helps. If you desire, pass it along. I will be sharing more information about the physical part of this challenge coming up. And what else? Next video, be looking out for it within the next couple of days. That one, I am not sure which I'm going to talk about yet. It may be label reading, or it may be meal prep and logging. So just look out for me, and you guys have a blessed, beautiful day. Again, YGU, yes, girl, university, say yes to you always. Have a good one.